Welcome back. You're watching the Small and Mid Cap Show. Let's pull up a Nelco on the screens and see what the company is doing in trade post their numbers as well. The stock is down nearly 1.5% as we speak. Clearly, the margins have seen a dip, and that's mainly on the back of a higher employee expense, as well as the change in inventory that we've seen. Revenues up around 12%. If you talk about the profitability as well, that has gone up around 23%. But let's welcome in the management and understand the breakup so far. Mr. PJ Nath, MD and CEO of Nelco, joins in. Mr. Nath, good morning and welcome to the show. And my first question coming to you is, have the numbers met your internal expectations?
The numbers are good. We are happy with what we are doing. Of course, we want to do more than that, but we are definitely satisfied with what has happened in the last quarter, both in terms of the revenue growth as well as the profit growth that we've seen sequentially as well as over the last year. And it's been very healthy for us. Our overall debt equity ratio has gone down to 0.2. Our debt has gone down to 23 crore, which is the lowest for us so far. So overall, the company has become fairly healthy, and we expect to therefore see much better growth going forward.
Right. So in terms of the debt that you mentioned as well, the lowest in history that you've seen at 23 odd crores, is that going to be a comfortable number, or you think how soon will you become debt free?
We believe that our this 23 crores is not the last. We'll go down below that as well. I would not like to comment at the moment in terms of when we become debt free, but our debts will certainly go down as we go forward in the current quarter.
Right, but my question was, is the plan to become debt free?
Well, there are a lot of new investments we'll be making because of new satellite capacities coming. There'll be new teleports will be opening up, and therefore it is we will also be investing in that. And therefore, the main objective is not to necessarily become debt free, but it is certainly to become more efficient so that we reduce our debt and yet manage our growth that we'll be having going forward.
Right. Overall, if you see in terms of the business as well, where are you seeing the opportunities emerge now for the company?
We are present in all the three segments, which is enterprise, which maritime, as well as aircraft communication. We see growth in all the three segments. Now, there are timing issues. For the aircraft communication, the time could be slightly later because it takes after more time to get the aircraft equipped for getting connected on for satellite communication. Maritime, we've already seen fair amount of growth. Enterprise has been is a big story. There are multiple segments within that. Some of the segments have not grown the way we expected it to grow so far, but going forward, we see them to be growing. So overall, therefore, we see all enterprise, maritime, as well as aircraft communication to be growing over the years. But immediately in this particular quarter, we will see both enterprise and maritime communication growing.
Right. So if you're saying enterprise and maritime communication are going to be the growth drivers in the coming quarters as well, what's the revenue contribution you're expecting from these two segments? Do you expect that mix to change?
Yeah, currently our in-flight and maritime communication is about 27% of the total revenue. It'll be around that, because while the enterprise is growing, maritime is also will be growing. So overall, our in-flight and maritime communication will be in the range of 26 to 27% the total revenue going forward in this particular quarter.
Right. And what's the current order book overall?
We don't specifically talk of any order book because of our business is more in terms of annuity contracts as well as new projects that we have. We focus on getting more annuity contracts so that our base is strong and growing. So suffice to say that we've got enough contracts with us to give us the kind of growth that we've seen this quarter going forward as well.
Okay. And in terms of the Indian space sector, which has been identified as a growth driver as well by the government, what is the role that a company like yours will have, and how are you looking at growing this space as well?
Yeah. We are a satellite communication service provider. We are the ones who offer the end-to-end service to our customers. So far, we are focusing more into the enterprise customers, the maritime communication and in-flight communication. We see all the three sectors to be growing, and we will be playing a very important role as an industry in terms of offering the end customer service, service to the end customers. I think so that's where we'll be. We will be seeing a lot of change in terms of the kind of satellite being launched, and therefore the type of satellite capacities being available, and the price at which we can will get them, which will obviously come down, because of which satellite communication service will be more affordable for the end customer, then therefore that will grow further. So we will be playing a very important role in terms of ultimately touching the end customer in terms of the satellite communication services. So that's where we'll be.
Okay. And overall, Mr. Nath, if you have to look at even the Indian aviation sector, right? You're talking about in-flight connectivity services. Any talks that you already have ongoing, and how long do you think will it take to actually scale up that part of the business?
We are in talks. First, let me give the perspective that even in the aircraft communication service, Aero IFC as we call it, we've been growing. It's just that our growth so far has been more with respect to international aircraft flying over India. We are in talks with the domestic airlines operators as well for offering the service in the domestic routes. We believe that it will take about a year and a half for it to get started. There are different discussions happening in terms of the business model, the business case, what kind of services could be offered, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's where it is. So we believe that that will happen in about year to year and a half's time.
Okay. The recent acquisition or investment that you've made as well with regards to where PISS Networks is concerned, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. What's the status of that, and how is that going to contribute to overall Nelco's business?
Okay, let me give a perspective. We are a satellite communication service provider, which means we offer an end-to-end service, connectivity service to our customers using a satellite spectrum. Now, we have also felt a need in the market that apart from satellite communication, the customers would also want to have another media for different reasons, for sometimes for backup, sometimes for redundancy, etc. And to do that, we require what we call as a software-defined modem or SD-WAN. So we have the option of buying SD-WAN from various vendors which are available globally and offer it as an end-to-end service to our customer, or have a product of our own. But because we are not a OEM ourselves, we are a service provider, and therefore we invested in this company. You pronounce it right, it's called PISS. That's a very innovative company. It's a startup, but has developed a very good solution, very good product, which caters to the needs of our customer. And therefore, we are able to offer a solution to a customer, which is combination of satellite communication as well as either a 4G or a broadband. So that is what we have done. And we've invested 30% in that company. And this has also given a lot of confidence to our customers that we are serious about this business. And then we see good prospects because of this overall investment that we've done in this SD-WAN company.
Right. Mr. Nath, overall, what's the kind of growth that you're looking at in terms of FY24 and 25 then, with all the levers in play? And what's the key milestone that the company wants to achieve?
In terms of milestones, one of our major focus of the company has been to become profitable, or rather increasing our profits, becoming healthier by balance sheet, reducing our borrowings, etc., which we are achieving. In terms of revenue also, while on a YTD basis, we've grown only 3% from a 9-month perspective. But the important part is that our service revenue within that has grown by 13%. So therefore, our service revenue part has been growing, and that is the trend. So while I'll not give a specific number for what will be at the end of the year, but we'll certainly be a double-digit growth over last year in terms of revenue, and profits will be at a similar kind of growth that you've seen currently, which is more than 20%, either sequential or year on or an annual basis.
Right. So I think that's a good guidance that one should be working with as well. Thank you, Mr. Nath, so much for joining us on the show and speaking to us at NDTV Profits. That's the management of Nelco. The stock has been slightly under pressure as we speak in today's day of trade, but completely out of time. But that it's a wrap on this edition of the Small and Mid Cap Show. Lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned to NDTV Profit.